Good afternoon, it's Lindsay. It's Tuesday, August 12th? August 5th is the date. Yeah, it's August 12th, Tuesday, 2025, and I just thought I'd go for a walk today. Um I wanted to talk some more about like whenever a person knows that they're being gang stalked and surveilled and put under a lot of scrutiny and pressure to make decisions and do things that you normally probably wouldn't do, as far as like taking chances. Um, and then that's when these people come back to start messing with you. The people I'm talking about, the people, i.e., the narcissistic people who treated you badly and lied to you and manipulated you and whatnot, they all of a sudden try to come back to try to mess with you even more. Um, and It's just really stupid or it's really annoying because these people, what they don't seem to understand is that people like to have their privacy and their boundaries set, and these people violate all your boundaries and treat you like an object, that you're supposed to be there at their beck and call. And so I've been going through that abuse, and it eventually takes such a toll on your emotional and physical health sometimes that you really feel like you're gonna, you feel so exhausted. And But they do that on purpose. It's all done for revenge. Whenever they come back to Hoover, and I'm telling you, these people are only doing that to get revenge and to try to get even with you or to try to teach you a lesson or whatever. But just keep in mind that you've already learned the lesson. The lesson is, don't let them back, and don't ever open the door again to these people, because it just gets worse. And they will fool you, they will convince you into thinking that, uh, everything is a lie. Everything that they say becomes a lie because they can't be honest. But you'll know that from the way they behave when you ask them questions, and you just have to go with your own intuition about people and about situations. Because if you don't, and if you keep on relying, or if you keep on allowing these people to manipulate and control you, then it will lead to your having no more individuality or sovereignty or independence, autonomy, because that's what they're trying to take. Is they're trying to steal your energy, your soul. It's like soul snatching or something. I don't know how to describe it, but it's the most. They need you. There's something about you that they need. In my case, this person is needy of something, and it's very demanding, and it's very manipulative, and it's just too much. And uh they basically can't take no for an answer, or they refuse to respect your boundaries, as I said before. Now, you'll catch them in a lie. They'll start fabricating a tall tale about stuff. Whenever you ask them a question about something, all of a sudden they'll start coming up with some stupid story about where they work, or about some scenario that makes absolutely no sense. You can tell that they're lying, and it's all a story. And this is once again done to try to test you, to try to test your ability to discern, to test your listening skills, your ability to comprehend right from wrong, truth from reality, or truth from fiction. And in my situation, like I said, these people, it's about financial control, and it's about controlling things that are important to me, that these people want to try to manipulate. And because they want to be the beneficiary, there's always some kind of reason behind the way they do this. Is because if they want what you have, they want what your assets are, they want it's more than just money, though. They, of course, they want your money, your assets, your time, your energy, your valuables, your anything about you. But they also will, for example, if you're somebody who does have a little bit of something in the bank, for example, or whatever, some savings, some kind of something. Well, if you don't have a beneficiary, then they're going to harass you about that and expect that you're going to put down someone that you don't want to put down. And this is, you'll get harassed by your own so-called family thinking that they own you, because that's what they do to me. And they gaslight, they manipulate, they use the psychiatric system, they use anybody and everybody to go against you, to portray you as being delusional and uh incapable, incapacitated. So yesterday, the day before yesterday, once again, the narcissistic individual shows up at my house unannounced, uninvited, after not hearing from him for like about several weeks, right? Because I'd blocked him anyway. But even though I have the jackass blocked, he was still calling me and leaving me messages. But for a couple weeks, he wasn't leaving any messages. I was like, good. He finally got the idea that I don't want to have anything to do with him anymore. That he doesn't have to keep harassing me and I don't have to change my number again. But sure enough, he shows up a couple days ago, because when they show up again to hoover you, when they'll do that over and over and over again, sometimes it's not what a survivor of this stuff needs. What you should understand is that when they do that, it's not because they're trying to get back with you. First of all, it was never a real relationship in the first place, right? It was a situation of which they were being paid or contracted. In my case, I found out through a second source that I had to pay to get information, because it was about time that I got some answers that I needed. And so I sought some outside help. And it was what I suspected all along anyway, that I've been talking about in my videos. But I was able to get some more clarity about the situation, and in fact, I was right. This person was being contracted by family, so-called family, who I don't want to have anything to do with, to keep tabs on me, to basically be my handler or controller or whatever, and to use me and exploit me and making money. See? And they'll do that whenever there's money involved or a contract. Like in my case, it's like the gym. And so they want to keep you. It's like they think that you have to be a certain. Uh, it's like it's like you're being emotionally blackmailed and bribed to do something you don't even want to do. But it's like, and then they expect that you don't owe these people anything. I don't owe this man a goddamn thing. He's a fucking asshole. He's a jerk. He's mean, manipulative, deceitful, and this was all done to punish me because of that inheritance. And that stupid fucking sibling, Carter Baldwin, that asshole, had threatened me with text messages that I still have on my other phone, how he was going to sue me, how he was going to ruin my life, and he was going to make sure that I was dead. He was basically threatening me, and I still have all that stuff saved, documented. So when I do get the chance to have a legal lawsuit, hopefully I'll be able to prove what I'm talking about, and people are going to see that I'm not exaggerating any of this. The fact that I've been getting death threats from people, that these people are involved with human trafficking, drug trafficking, pornography, all that kind of dirty, nefarious stuff. They're all involved with that kind of stuff, and so they've been using me unwittingly as like their scapegoat to a bully and abuse, and basically a punching bag, an emotional tampon for these fucking asshole narcissistic psychopaths, because that's what they are. There's no other way to describe people like that except psychopaths, either primary psychopaths or secondary sociopaths. Sociopaths become that way, psychopaths are born that way. So there is a difference, but it's a major personality disorder, and it goes unnoticed all the time because people don't know how to deal with these kinds of individuals. Society doesn't quite know what to do with them because they basically get away with so much and so much abuse that they inflict on the victims, that either the victim ends up dead and nobody knows about it because of all the torture and mental abuse, and often, psychological abuse, and often physical abuse. The victim ends up dead or disappears, or some weird something happens to them, and the perpetrator survives, usually the narcissist, but they end up alone and old. They end up alone. Nobody wants to be around them. Eventually their mask completely slips and everybody figures out what they are, and nobody wants to have anything to do with them. And the survivor, i.e. the scapegoat, who had to put up with the abuse and endured all that trauma, usually starting from childhood, is a survivor, the scapegoat, who has to be the one to break this kind of curse, that sometimes it's a generational curse. And these people will target people for certain bloodlines, certain things that they'll target you for. And that's what happened to me. That's what I've been going through. And so I have to like document every day these things that happen to me as far as a smear campaign, because of course they're going to do a smear campaign on the target when you reject them or call them out and embarrass them or humiliate them for, you know, saying it like it is, because they can't handle that. They try to keep everything covert, and they'll threaten you, and they basically blackmail you into being silent. And then when you speak out against it, then you get punished. That's when they punish you, and often it's by death. They'll send people out to kill you, to try to assassinate you, and this is no joke, because that's what I've survived so many staged accidents. They've tried to poison my food. They've come into my house when I'm not there. They do all kinds of things to try to eliminate the target, and that's why. And because they can't handle when somebody exposes them for what they're doing. That's the biggest thing that these narcissistic psychopaths, because they're basically getting away with stuff that nobody ever, you know, people in their family know that that's how they are, but they accept the abuse because they don't know, you know, certain cultures don't believe in mental health, or they don't believe in they basically they don't they just ignore it, and they act like it's not happening because they're used to that. They're not very educated about anything as far as like about psychology, abnormal psychology, for example. And so these perpetrators, narcissistic people, will get away with all kinds of stuff until somebody either has to call the authorities, or they get thrown in prison, or they get caught with some, you know, they end up getting caught, or they end up just dying a slow, agonizing death by themselves, because basically, like I said, nobody wants to have anything to do with them anymore because they're such evil people. They're basically just sent by demons to mess with people, because they have so many unresolved issues from their own childhood, and so they have to take it out on somebody, and it's usually their partner, their intimate partner, or somebody who they see as being weak and vulnerable. And so that's why most people don't know about this kind of abuse, because they've never endured such severe harassment and stalking and abuse, because it's a little bit difficult for somebody to comprehend this when you haven't experienced it. Oh, look, there's a tombstone with my name on it, my last name. Just came upon it randomly on accident. Baldwin. Wow, I guess that was no accident, was it? That was a coincidence. Baldwin. Hmm, that's a pretty tombstone. It looks like it's obviously granite, marble granite. Yeah, this is a Mission Park. I'm over here at Mission Park Cemetery, and it's quiet. It's about 5 o'clock, 4:30 in the afternoon. It's still really hot outside, but it's decided to come for a little. Haven't been here in a while, so I was like, I'll go ahead and go over here. Just, but yeah. So they'll send out these people, like whenever, you know, like I talked about before, they'll send people out to the gym. So this narcissist shows up at my house a couple days ago, and he first of all, they're very disrespectful. They don't care about your boundaries or your space. They invade your space, and he comes over, knocking on the door, and I told him to go away. You know, get out of here, please. I don't, you know, just get out of here. Go home. Go away. You're not invited to my house. And he wouldn't leave, and so I cracked the door open a little bit, and then he starts saying something about, and then this popsicle. This is all staged, though. You see, this is all fucking coordinated. All the stuff that happened was all very calculated and coordinated, so they can get the attention that they need, that he demands. And so he acts like a child, like an Arrested Development child, a 55-year-old child. It's pretty pathetic. So the as he's at the gate trying to get inside, and I'm not letting him inside. He's begging to come inside the house, saying, I need you, I need you, you know, I miss you. Can I come inside? I want to talk to you. I'm like, no, go home, get out of here. And then this Mexican popsicle um, ice cream truck goes by, a little cart. It said Paraiso, Payaso, something about the little. And he gets me, and I'm like, I don't even eat milk products. I don't eat pot. I don't eat ice cream. I don't eat dairy food stuff at all. And so, oh wow, he gets me a strawberry ice cream thing on a stick, and I'm like, I just threw it in the trash. I'm like, I don't want this. I don't, I didn't ask for this. I don't want this. I don't eat. They know that I don't eat that shit. I don't eat milk. I don't eat ice cream. But that's an example of what a narcissist will do when they know that you're what you don't eat. They'll get it for you, or they'll try to get you to eat something you don't want, and they body shame you. Like this person, he lost a little bit of weight. He was overweight, and he has a big face, whatever. He had gotten a little bit overweight, and so now that he lost a little bit of weight, he acts like he's some kind of a fucking god, and that he can do anything he wants, and that everybody wants to be with him, and that he's so great, and that he can drag everybody down because, oh look, bragging about stuff. It's like, well, I don't give a shit. Good for you. That's great. But he's acting like he has to prove to me that look at me and look what I'm doing, and then rubbing my face that he's with somebody different, this Victor whatever. I don't give a shit. I told him, look, I don't care who you're with. I don't even want to know. What I want is for you to leave me alone and just stop coming to my house uninvited and just disappear from my life. I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore because I know that you're a fucking liar and a player, and you fucking exploit me, and it's mean, and you're a very insensitive jerk, and I don't want to have anything to do with you. Now, good luck with whoever you're with, and move on. I've told him that over and over again, and he seems to think that I'm kidding around. It's like, what do you not understand? That when you don't trust somebody, why would I want to keep getting back with somebody who treats me like shit, and it just gets worse and worse every time you let them back into your house? That's the reality of these people. They just think that they can come and go whenever they want, and not even considering your needs. They're very, they don't. They're very needy. They're very aggressive. They're very demanding, inconsiderate. They don't care about anybody but themselves. They're self-absorbed, and they're narcissistic, and they're all about their image and status, and trying to act like they have money and looking like they have a lot of money when maybe they don't. But it's all about that. They want to perceive. They want to have that. They want to, they want to project the image of being really well-to-do and dressing fancy, and so that they can have all the women because they're sex addicts. The men who are narcissistic like this are 9 out of 10 times they're sex addicts. And whenever a man is an addict of that, you can be assured that he's never going to be faithful to just you. He's got multiple women always. They're always on their phone. They keep secrets on their phone, and when they won't show you their phone, you know that that's, they're just full of shit. And you're wasting your time if you're with these people because they don't ever change. As a matter of fact, it gets worse. The only thing that could change is some kind of a divine miracle, but they're usually godless. They mock you. They mock God. They mock spirituality. They mock anything that's depth, that has depth to it. They think everything's supposed to be funny, and they're supposed to be entertained, and you're supposed to be there to serve them their needs and entertain them. And when you don't do that, that's when they dump you, discard you, throw you away like a piece of trash, and then you're left wondering, what did I do? What happened? Because there's no closure. And that's what they do on purpose. But then they come back to hoover you maybe a couple weeks later, a month later, a year later, whatever, acting like nothing ever happened, and they don't apologize, or they're never held accountable for what they did because they're in denial. And you're just supposed to figure it out, and you're left, they're blaming you for something that you didn't even do. They blame shift. This is what they all do. They all have the same book of rules they use. I don't know what it is, but they all play by the same rules, and they're very predictable. They're very you know, they're impulsive. The main thing is they're very impulsive. They're needy, they're impulsive, they're greedy, self-absorbed, and inconsiderate. And it's about, you know, showing off. And then they do a smear campaign, and then spread your name, and say talk shit about you to the places you go, like at the gym, so everybody goes against you and laughs at you, when in fact it's them doing it. And so you're left thinking, what do I do to defend myself? So what the fuck do? You make fucking videos about it and expose their motherfucking asses, pardon my language. But I'm in a cemetery, the people are dead. But I have to talk about this out in the open because you know what? I'm fucking tired of being exploited by these people, being treated like I'm a joke, an object. And I have to talk about it. I have to document it because what they do is wrong. And this happened a couple days ago. And it's like, once again, it's like you're feeling fine and you're moving on, and they come back to fuck up your life on purpose because they don't want you to move on. They want to make sure that if you and you're not, I'm over that jackass. I don't even give a shit. I don't care about him. I really don't. At this stage of my life, I just have nothing but actual like hate. I can't stand him. I really don't like him at all. I don't like any of these people. I don't have any care about what they're doing. I don't want to know. I just want them to leave me alone. And I don't want to know anything about them. And that's called closure. But they refuse to let it go. They refuse to let you go on with your life because they're such a fucking miserable jerks because they fucked up so much that they have to punish you for what they did wrong. They punish you. When they discard you, they blame you and punish you for what they did to you. You see how it works. But just see it for what it is when they do this, and then they manipulate. They do other shit. They lie. They make up stories to try to make you look foolish to see if you're gonna believe their little fucking fabricated tales of what happened at their job and some bullshit story about somebody running around in a Jason mask at Saks Fifth Avenue, and crap like that, or some black people dressed in medical scrubs going backwards on the escalator, shit like this. It's like, they just do that. They make it up at the spur of the moment to see if you're paying attention or to see if you catch on to their fucking lies, to see how dumb, because then they say you're just a fucking fool and they tell everybody you're crazy. That's what they do. That's how they abuse you mentally. That's an example. Just don't believe a fucking word they say. Because it's all done to entrap you and discredit you. See? To keep you in their little web of deceit. You have to break free from that shit. You don't need it. Nobody needs that. So, anyway. That's about all I have to say about that. I just thought I'd document that because it's some very psychological. They want to keep you trauma bonded to them. They want to keep you attached like a baby to an umbilical cord or something. They think that you can't go on without them, which is bullshit. It's the other way around. They're the ones who need you. They can't fucking function without you. But they try to use reverse psychology to make it look like you're the desperate one when in fact it's the opposite. They're little babies in adult diapers, basically an adult arrested development, a grown man who needs mommy. He looks at every woman as mommy, and if you can't match up to mommy, then you're going to get discarded and bullied around because you can't be his mommy. But you know what I mean? They need a mommy. And so that's not my role in life, is to be somebody's mother and be treated like a fucking doormat at their leisure and an object, you know? So you'll find that whenever you get involved with these people, you become like their entire, it's like you're supposed to fix their entire fucking family. Oh, look at the vultures. Oh my God. Oh, wow. Let's see what they've got. They got something. I love sneaking up on vultures. I wonder what they got. Hmm. I have to go. Ooh, they're eating a. Ooh, it's a. It's a squirrel. Yeah, God, it smells really bad. Oh, it's a raccoon, I think. Yeah, it's a dead raccoon. It smells pretty fresh. Ugh. Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's all.